Doing good. I got my first picture drawn here already, so I'm hoping to get a little better.
My dad already put his on our fridge.
Yeah, and it looks so weird.
Well, he was
How do you
talking
really
it up
feel?
a lot on the group chat, so I'm glad somebody's gonna say it.
Yeah.
Well, today on our first inaugural seal
Drawing.
art lesson, we will be drawing the seal in the ocean. Well, near the ocean.
Yeah,
But
and it has a crown.
it has a crown because, of course, we want to represent. Now, we're going to go through this. We're going to get to do this drawing. I'm going to show you guys how to draw the seal, and then I'm going to give you some options for the backgrounds. But, so I'm an art teacher, and what I always say in my art classes, it's your art. And so if you have an idea or something that you want to do in this, you just go for it and do it. There are no rules. It doesn't have to look just like mine. It doesn't have to look a certain way. Absolutely go for it. All right? Well, let's get started. Okay, so we all have our piece of paper, right? The first step in drawing our seal, this is going to be a little bit tricky for me because I have to be careful not to draw it, and if I draw it in Sharpie, then I won't be able to erase it. The first thing you're going to do, so I'm going to try and press hard with my pencil, is you're going to draw a small circle, a little bit bigger than your thumb, like that. You guys see that? Kind of not quite in the middle, over to the side just a little bit. All got our circle. Okay. Now we're going to go to the top of our circle and we're going to draw a kind of a swoopy line that looks a little bit like a U. Well, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go down and up. You see that? I always keep an eraser handy, a big one, because I make a lot of mistakes. All right, so now we're gonna go and make another big swoopy line to make the body of our seal. And I'm gonna come to right about here on my circle, a little bit below halfway. And I'm gonna go down and back up like so. Okay, so let's give our seal a tail. You get to decide if yours is a boy seal or a girl seal. You can give him or her it. You can give it a tail. And so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make the tail. Now seals' tails it looks a little bit like a dolphin tail, but it also, their tails kind of have, it's almost like a hand or a foot. Okay, now let's give it its front flippers. So I'm going to come down here and it's going to go like that. You see that? Slightly, it's kind of like a rectangle, but angled at one side, and it doesn't have a top. So now we're going to put the other one, we're not going to see the entire thing, but it's going to come here. And then look, you can see it's kind of, our seal is kind of propping itself up. In order to do the face, first we're going to draw the muzzle. And so in order to do that, I'm going to draw 3 circles. And I'm going to actually see if I can get really close with this. I'm going to do 1 circle, 2 circles, 3 circles. You guys see that? And these are the structure shapes that are inside of the actual thing I'm drawing. And when you draw these structure shapes, it helps you to then be able to figure out what it looks like. Once you get those 3 little circles on, we're going to connect them and then erase the inside. So now, kind of looks like a flat W or some sunglasses. So remember we drew 2 circles right next to each other, right? Then you erase the inside. Let's see if I can angle it so you can see that, Quinn. Inside what looks like the sunglasses, you're gonna draw the triangle nose. All right, now it needs eyes. Let's give it some eyes. And if you decided that you have a girl seal, you can give it eyelashes. Or boy seals, boys have eyelashes too. Some little eyelashes. And then if yours is a San Diego seal, then you need to give it a crown. So if you want to give it a crown, go up to the top, put 2 lines that go out like that. And then 1 in the middle that's a little taller. And then if we're gonna have it look like the seal behind me, I'm gonna make a triangle on each side and then 1 on the top. You see that? You want to go and erase the parts of that that actually you wouldn't see on a seal normally. So I'm gonna, so this, there was a little line right here. I'm gonna erase that. And any other marks that might need to be erased. And then on my crown, I want to connect it. So I just make little U's, and then there I've got my crown. See that? Just connect that. And I can erase that line in the center. Now mine has a nice fancy crown. And there's also a line right here where the body, you can see through the fin, and I don't want to be able to see the body through the flipper. So that's the basic shape of the seal. Trying to make sure the lighting, you can see, keeps looking like it's in a shadow. So at this point, we have some decisions to make. Where do we want our seal to be? Is your seal sitting on the beach? Is your seal balancing on a beach ball? Like in the circus? Is your seal, I'd hope not. Anyways, is your seal at SeaWorld? Is your seal sitting on the rocks? If you live in San Diego and you ever go to La Jolla Shores, there's the children's pool where all the seals go and they sit on the sand and the rocks and make funny sounds. Anyways, we have to decide where we want to put it. I'm going to put mine on a rock because that's like kind of where they like to go. So I'm just going to make a big rock here. And I'm actually going to use Sharpie so you guys can see it because I realize it's a little hard to see. The good thing about rocks is you really don't have to be perfect with them. So I made a rock for mine because we don't want it just floating in space unless you do want it floating in space, but I don't want mine floating in space. Put mine on a rock, and I'm going to put a bigger rock over here. There's a couple of rocks. And then I can, if you have a Sharpie or a black crayon or a black marker or any color, really, it can be whatever color you want. Now's a good time to go in and trace. And tracing those lines, and that's just going to help when we color and shade it. I've got some pencil marks in there that my Sharpie didn't catch. Go back, I can erase them. That way when I color it in, you won't see those pencil marks. If you don't have an eraser or you don't feel like erasing it, that's okay too. It's your preference. I think my seal needs whiskers. Someone put some whiskers in there. Up to you though. So that's the difference. If you use a fine Sharpie, you get a fine line width, and you're going to have a nice thick line width. Now, if you want your seal to be at the ocean, you're going to need to draw what's called the horizon line. And the horizon line is that special place where the ocean meets the sky. If you ever go out to the beach, next time you go out to the beach, look for the horizon. And what we do when we draw the horizon, it's really simple. You're just going to draw a straight line. I'm going to have mine go just maybe about a finger width below the face. All the way across. You guys can see that. Just drew a little line. And if you want to get really fancy, we can have it be a sunset. So somewhere along that line, it can be anywhere, you can draw a sun. So that's just going to be a half circle. So I'm going to go, and I drew a nice sun. And I'm going to go ahead and Sharpie mine so you can see it better. If you have this all done, while we wait, get either your crayons or your markers or your colored pencils or whatever you're going to use to color, and start thinking about what colors you're going to use. If you want to be very literal and have it look very realistic, you can choose realistic colors. If you don't, that's okay too. Let's say you want your seal to be, I don't know, magenta. or turquoise. You can do that too. That's cool. There are no rules, and you can start shading. What I'm going to show you, I'm pretty sure that everyone here is probably pretty good on their coloring skills, but if you want to see what I thought, and you can just color it in however you want, but what I want to show you that's fun is how to do, if you put the sun in, how to make it look like a sunset. So in order to make it look like a sunset, you can get a few different colors out. You have a yellow and an orange and a red. We'll start with those. I'm going to start, I'm going to shade my whole sun yellow. I like to turn my crayon and use, if you see how I'm using my crayon, I'm using not just the tip, the whole side of it, because it goes a lot faster and it gives pretty even coverage. You're going to see on the ocean, because remember we have our horizon line where the ocean meets the sky. What you're going to do is you're going to go below, down on the ocean, and you're going to make a little bit of a reflection of the sun. It's not a perfect circle, a perfect half circle. It's just a little bit of a reflection. And so it's kind of a squiggly line. You guys see that? So then once my sun is on there, I can go and make it a little darker with my orange in the center. You could layering, when you layer your colors with crayons, you could get some nice rich colors. So I'm putting a little orange in the center, and then maybe even a little bit of, just a little tiny bit of red in there. And then I've got my reflection down below. So if you've got your sun and you want to make the rays of the sun, the way you're going to do that is kind of like we did on the reflection. I'm going to take my crayon and just kind of go a little bit back and forth and get a little wider as it goes out. So it's a loose impression of a ray, not an actual sun ray, because on a normal sunny day, you don't really see the literal rays of the sun, just kind of the idea of them. And then just decide what you want to use for your sky. And I'm going to do two colors. I've got in my box of crayons, I've got a couple of nice blues. I have my indigo and cerulean. Cerulean's a little lighter. Indigo's a little darker, a little closer to purple. And so maybe I'll do my darker color up on the top. I'm kind of doing loose coloring. So I'm going in and I start with my dark color and I'm shading in, and I'm just actually going right over that yellow that I put in there. You guys can see that with my dark blue. And then I'm going to use my lighter blue and layer that. Same thing. And you notice that my crayon is just going side to side. That's called the directionality. You want it to go side to side. That way it looks very intentional the way you colored. So there, you can see I've got kind of a cool blended sky. You just keep working on that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the ocean. Start by going across. And then I'm gonna use my darker color as I go down. Kind of layer the two. So it kind of fades to dark as it goes down where the shadows are. Then you can color your seal. Seals, there are lots of different types of seals. There are seals with spots. There are white seals and dark brown and black seals. There's all different kinds. Get my seal colored in real quick, and then I'm doing this pretty fast because we're coming right up to our time, but I want to make sure to show you something cool. So I'm going to do my rocks. Get those on there real quick, just using brown. I'm going to do something that's called the cast shadow.
Oh, shading.
Nice, Carter. I like the different types of lines you have, the thin lines and the thick lines. So once I'm going to get my rock colored in real quick. And then remember how before our seal was floating in space? We needed to put it on the ground. We needed to put it on something. Well, now that it's on the ground, we want to show the light source, something that'll make it also look neat, is underneath. Oh, nice, Quinn. Okay, underneath your seal, if you've already got yours colored in, your rocks colored in, take a dark crayon. I've used brown to shade it. I can use black, a little bit of black, or I can even just go in and press really hard with my brown, and I'm just gonna make a shadow. Then it's no longer floating in space, and the sun's behind, so the shadow is gonna be coming that way. Does that make sense? And then I can even take my crayon and go in and shade in a little bit on the bottom of my seal to make it darker, just by pushing harder with my crayon. Shade in here. There's lots of different things you can do. But that is our very basic how to draw a seal and make a really pretty sunset. So on Wednesday, if you're available and you want to come back, we're going to do a really fun drawing that's also kind of a game. And we're going to make monsters. And I'm going to have all these choices, and I'm going to share a screen with you so you guys are going to get to draw some crazy stuff. So I hope you come back. And again, all you need, oh, nice, San Diego Seals.
Nice.
Good job, Carter. All you're going to need for Wednesday is the same stuff. Paper, pencil, pens, crayons if you've got them, and that's it. And it'll be fun. And it's going to be silly.
All right. Everybody give a big thanks to Miss Marshall. I learned a lot here. This was actually pretty good.
You're welcome. It was so nice to meet everyone and see everyone.
Thank you.